everyone, I'm Trixie Sabelia from Group 6. For today's video, we will gonna be sharing and expanding your knowledge about semantics that integrates different mother tongue based terms, which is Cebuano. Together with my other group mates, we will help you to learn about semantics. But before that, I have here some words that might help you to understand semantics. Lend your ears as I share this to you, because after this, I have some questions to ask to you. I have here 5 words, and these words has different interpretation. First word. When we say happy, in other words, joyful, delighted, cheerful, and glad. The second word, when we say sad, in other words, unhappy, down, gloomy, and miserable. The third one, when we say like, in other words, it is love, adore, admire, and treasure. The fourth one, when we say good, in other words, it is splendid, wonderful, amazing, delightful. The last word, when we say big, in other words, it is immense, gigantic, enormous. Those are the 5 words that I prepared. Now, since we're done in knowing other interpretation of meaning of the words, I have here some questions. First question. Why there are 2 meanings in one word? Why? That's because the other important element of language is context. The more of these words included in a language, the faster and more efficiently people could understand. The second question, why is it important to learn semantics? So why is it? Is it important because it explains various types of meaning that exist within a language, granting insight into how person builds ability and understanding with that language. It is also important for children to know the opposite meanings of the words. So the third and the last question, how do we identify semantics? So how? We can identify semantics if the word technically mean the same thing, and the extension between literal meaning and figurative meaning. So now, let me welcome Ruela Carol Usores as she tours you to the world of semantics.
Thank you for that warm welcome, Trixie. So learners, now let us tackle the definition of semantics. Semantics is one of the important branches of linguistics that deals with the interpretation of meaning of the words, sentence structure, and symbols. So ang semantics mao ang pagtan-aw or ang pagsabot sa kung unsay buot ipasabot or sa kung unsay kahulugan ana na words or pulong. So it is how the words are being interpreted or the study of the meaning of the words. So example of semantics is the word child could be called a child, kid, boy, girl, son, and daughter. So the Cebuano term of child means bata. So kung makadungog ta ana na word, so posible na ang pagsabot sa tao kay posible na iyang pagsabot kay kana nga word kay gi-refer na siya sa batang lalaki, sa batang babayi, sa anak na lalaki or sa anak na babayi. So semantics, it simply means that ang words kay naa siya daghan nga meaning. So it depends on how the words are constructed or how it is interpreted. So semantics have types. So the types of semantics are the connotative and the denotative semantics. So let us first tackle the connotative semantics. So connotative semantic is when a word suggests a set of associations or is an imaginative or emotional suggestion connected with the words, while readers can relate to such associations. So ang connotative semantics kay ang words na gigamit kay naa siya laing nga meaning. So ang kana nga word nga iyang gigamit kay naay laing buot ipasabot. So example, blue is a color. So in connotative, blue means sadness or it refers to sadness or it symbolizes to sadness. So the Cebuano word of blue is azul and the Cebuano word of sadness means kasubo. So she's feeling blue. So that the sentence means that she is sad. Siya kay masulubon. Siya kay naa sa kasubo. So, mauna siya gipasabot ana na sentence. So, another example is that woman is a dove at heart. So, the word dove there refers to peace or gentility. So, in connotative, when we say dove, so ang pasabot ana kay peace and gentility. The Cebuano word of dove is salampati and the Cebuano word of peace is kalinaw and gentility is kalumo. So the sentence that woman is a dove at heart means ang kanang bayhana kay naay malumo na kasing-kasing. Another type of semantic is the denotative semantic. So denotative semantic, it suggests the literal, the explicit, or the dictionary meanings of the words without using associated meanings. So example, the blueberry is very blue. So diba in connotative semantics kay blue refers to sadness. So in denotative, blue refers to the color itself which is blue. So ang blueberry kay blue kaayo. So dili na siya pwede nga ang atong pagsabutan na niya kay ang blueberry kay kuan masulubon. Dili na siya mao. Kana siya nga sentence kay denotative na siya. So, literal iyahang meaning na. Ang blueberry kay blue. It depends on the sentence, on how the sentence constructed, no? Pag-interpret sa word kay depende sa kung giunsa pag-construct ang sentence. So now, let's proceed to the one of the theories of semantics, which is the lexical relations in semantics. Lexical relations, words are not only the containers or as fulfilling rules. They can also have relationships. So ang words kay naana sila relationships. They are connected. No kay ang word kay naana siya lain-lain or daghan nga meaning. So example is the meaning of the word conceal, we might reply it the same as hide. So, ang conceal ug hide kay naa na siya same meaning. So which is koan sa Bisaya, ang meaning niya kay tago. Kung moingon tag conceal, pasabot ana niya tago. Kung moingon sa tag hide, pasabot sila niya kay tago. So naa sila relasyon, connected ra sila. So, another example is the meaning of shallow as the opposite of deep. So, shallow in Bisaya or in Cebuano is mabaw and deep in Cebuano is lawom. So they are connected, as said, they have relationships kay opposite man sila, bali giatbang man sila, di sila pariha pero kanang kahibalo ta sa kung unsa ilahang kalahian.
Thank you, Ruella, and good day, everyone. Okay, so I will be discussing about the lexical relations in semantics. Lexical relations is one of the theories in semantics. Okay, so what is lexical relations? Our words are not only the containers or as fulfilling rules, they can also have relationships. Okay, so lexical relations is not only the containers or a fulfilling words or fulfilling rules, but they can also have relationships. Example, the meaning of the word conceal, or if we're going to translate it into Cebuano term, tago. We might reply it in the same as hide. So hide is also if we're going to translate into Cebuano term, it is also tago. The meaning of swallow, or in Cebuano term, mabaw, as the opposite of deep or laum. Okay, so again, the lexical relationships, they can also have a relationship, just like the examples I have presented here. Okay, so now let us proceed to the types of lexical relations. First is the synonymy. Synonyms are two or more forms with closely related meanings, which are often but not always intersubstitutable in sentences. For example, broad. So the synonyms of broad is wide. Okay, in Cebuano term, it is called halapad. Again, another, hide. The synonyms of hide is conceal. Or if we're going to translate into Cebuano, it is tago. Another, almost. Or the synonym of almost is nearly. In Cebuano term, it is hapit. Another one is cab. The synonyms of cab is taxi. Then if we're going to translate into Cebuano, it is taxi. Last is answer. The synonyms of the answer is reply. Okay, so if we're going to translate into Cebuano term, it is tubag. The idea of sameness of meaning used in discussing synonym is not necessarily total sameness. For example, Kathy had only one answer correct in the test. It is near synonym with reply would sound odd. Okay? Remember that the synonyms is the sameness of the meaning, but not necessarily total sameness. Just like the example here. If we're going to use the word reply in the sentence, it sounds odd. Okay, so the correct word that we're going to use is answer. That's why synonyms is the sameness of meaning but not necessarily total sameness, especially when we use it in a sentence. The other types of lexical relations is antonymy. These two forms with opposite meanings are called antonyms. Example, big. Okay, so the antonyms of big is small. And if we're going to translate into Cebuano, big is dako and small is gamay. Another, long. The antonyms of long is short. The Cebuano term of long is taas. And for short, mobo. Here, rich. The antonyms of rich is poor. Rich in Cebuano is adunahan. And poor is pobre. Another, Happy. The antonyms of happy is sad. If we're going to translate it into Cebuano, happy is malipayon and sad is masulobon. I mean masulobon. And then hot. The antonyms of hot is cold. If we're going to translate it into Cebuano, hot is init and cold is bugnaw. Okay, so that is antonyms. The opposite meanings of the opposite meanings is called antonyms. Just like my example here, the big, long, rich, happy, and hot. It is given the antonyms of that word. The small, short, the poor, sad, and cold. Another types of lexical relations is hyponymy. Hyponymy is when the meaning of one form is included in the meaning of another. Example: rose, flower. Okay, so the flower here, there is the general term, and the rose is the specific name or specific kind of a flower. Okay, so rose in Cebuano is rosas and flower is bulak. Another example, dog. So dog is animal. Dog in Cebuano is ero. And animal is hayop. Another example is shih tzu, dog. So the Cebuano term is shih tzu and the dog is ero. Carrot, vegetable. Okay, so the vegetable is the general term. And the carrot here is the specific. What kind of vegetable? So the carrot. Carrot in Cebuano is karot. And vegetable is utanon. Another example is mahogany and tree. So the tree is the general term. And the mahogany is the specific tree. So if mahogany in Cebuano is mahogany. And tree in Cebuano is kahoy. Okay? So that is the hyponymy. The meaning one form included the meaning of another. Okay, so let me welcome Claire Caparrosa to discuss the other types of lexical relations.
Thank you for that warm welcome, Miss Mary Jane. And by the way, it's me again, Claire. And for today, we're going to talk about the types of lexical relations, which are the homopony, homonymy, and polysemy. So without further ado, let's start. So first, let's talk about the homopony. A homopony is when two or more different written forms have the same pronunciation. So in homopony, they are different written in forms, but they have the same pronunciation. So we have here some examples of homopony. First, we have bear, or someone that has no clothes, or hubo in Cebuano, and bear, or uso in Cebuano, is a kind of animal. Bear, which is hubo in Cebuano, and bear, or uso in Cebuano, that is a kind of animal. If you observe here, they are different written in forms, but they have the same pronunciation. Bear and bear. Next, we have meat. Meat, or in Cebuano, is carne. And meat, or nagkita in Cebuano. Meat and meat. Meat, which is carne in Cebuano, and met, which is nagkita. They are different written in forms, but they have the same pronunciation. Meat and met. Next, Next, we have flour. A flour, usually you use this when you are baking. Flour, or in Cebuano, harina. And next, we have flower. A flower is a kind of plant. Flour, which is harina, and flower, or bulak. Lastly, we have pail, or something that you use when you are getting water. Pail, or in Cebuano, balde. And next, pail or luspad. They are different written in forms, but they have the same pronunciation. Pail and pail. So now let's go to homonemy. A homonemy are words which have quite separate meanings, but which have accidentally came to have exactly the same form. So a homonemy are written in the same form, but they have separate in meanings. So we have here some examples of homonemy. First, we have a bank. Bank, or a bank of a river or tampi sa suba, and bank, or a financial institution, or in Cebuano, bangko sa mga salapi. Bank, or bank of a river, and bank, a financial institution. Next, we have bat. A bat, or a flying creature, or in Cebuano, kwaknit. And bat, a bat that is used in sports, a baseball bat. Bat, a flying creature, and bat, or a baseball bat that is used in sports. Next, we have race. Race, or contest of speed, or lumba, and race, a ethnic group o rasa sa mga etniko. Race, contest of speed, or lumba, and race, an ethnic group o rasa sa mga etniko. Usually, you use a homonemy. It depends on how you use this in a sentence. And now let's go to polysemy. A polysemy, if a word has multiple meanings, that is called polysemic. Relatedness of meaning accompanying identical form is technically as polysemy. So a polysemy is a word that has multiple meanings. A one word that has multiple meanings. So we have here some examples of polysemy. So a word head, or ulo, is usually to refer to the object on top of our body, which is this head, or ulo sa tao, or on top of a glass of beer, on top of company or department, or a head of company or the head of department. So the word head is only a one word but has a multiple meanings. So next, another word is foot, or tiil. Has multiple meanings such as foot of a person, foot of bed, foot of a mountain. So the word foot is only a one word, but it has multiple meanings such as foot of a person, foot of the bed, and foot of the mountain. So remember that a polysemy is only a one word that has multiple meanings. And that's it, the types of lexical relations. But there's more types of lexical relations, and it's going to be discussed by Miss Anna Rose.
Thank you, Claire, for introducing me. So, good day, everyone. I am Anna Rose Olaa, and I'm the one who will discuss the last two types of lexical relations, which are metonymy and collocation. So, metonymy is another type of relationship between words based simply on a close connection in everyday experience. That close connection can be based on three parts, which is first, a container or contents relation in Cebuano, kalabutan sa sulod. For example, bottle in Cebuano, botilya. Coke. Another is can juice, which is in Cebuano, lata al tuka. Those two examples has content relation. The second is a wool part relation. For example, car
And wheels in Cebuano, auto o dikit. So when we think of a car or auto, we all know that it has a wheels or dikit. Another example is house or roof. In Cebuano, balay o atop. When we think of house or balay, it should have a roof or atop. In other words, we can see the relation as a whole. The last part is a representative, in Cebuano, representante. And symbol relationship in Cebuano is simbolo. Example, king and crown in Cebuano, hari at corona. So the crown symbolizes the king as a representation. Another example is the president and the White House. When we thought the White House, we always see it as a symbol of the president. Metonymy is a figure of speech in which an object or idea is referred to by the name of something closely associated with it, as opposed to by its own name. Metonymy involves a word or phrase substituting or standing in for another word or phrase. And the last type of lexical relations is collocation. Words that frequently occurring together is known as collocation. Words tend to occur with other words. For example, if you ask 1,000 people what they think when you say hammer, in Cebuano martillo, more than half will say nail, in Cebuano lansang. Another one is if you say table, in Cebuano la mesa, they will mostly say chair, in Cebuano lingkuranan. And for butter, in Cebuano mantikilya, the first word they would think is bread, in Cebuano tinapay. Another one is for needle, in Cebuano dagong. They would mostly think thread, in Cebuano hilo. For salt, in Cebuano asin, they would think pepper, in Cebuano sili. Some collocations are joined by pairs of words such as husband in Cebuano bana and wife in Cebuano asawa. Therefore, collocations are word pairing that are expected to come together. Now, since you've learned what is semantics and its types and theory, let's test your knowledge. So first, activity is contrast at least one example of each type of lexical relations and give their Cebuano terms. Write your answer in the space provided. And the second activity is, in your own words, differentiate the two types of semantics, which is denotative and connotative semantic. So that's all for today's discussions. We hope that you've learned something for this video and apply it in your studies. So once again, good day everyone. Thank you for watching.